Welcome to another special edition episode of Your Time Legends Unleashed on the Uproar Radio show here. And as always, I'm your host, Reno Thompson. And tonight I have some very special guests, some of TSU football's own. We got quarterback under the center number 10, Byron McNair. And then we got wide receiver, a local kid out of the Middle Tennessee area here in Murfreesboro, Brock Montgomery, man. So again, we want to welcome y'all to the show. These are the 1912 Sports Group ambassadors, man. So guys, fellas, welcome to the show again, man. How we feeling?
Feeling great, feeling
Feeling
great.
good.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
it's always, man. It's always a good thing to get a chance to connect and talk with just, as we say behind me right there, the boys, man. It's always good to do this, man. And like I said, we're gonna have a good catching up, right, man. We're gonna, check in on you all and see how this thing is going as ambassadors, right? Early, in this role, and then we're gonna, as you see right there on the screen, we're gonna have a conversation on just some season lessons, man, and then how you all look to transform and evolve as we move into the off-season space here, man. So, as I said, let's do it, man. So, as a check-in, man. First of all, how was the Thanksgiving holiday for you all, man? I'm gonna go to you first on this, Brock, man. How was it?
It was great. I think I gained a couple pounds, so
Oh man, we gotta get that off you real quick, man. What about
oh
you?
yeah.
What about you, Byron?
Uh, man, I would say the same. I gained a few pounds. It was good seeing family and just around all the love and support, and then being like proud of everything I accomplished. So like that was good to just de-escalate from all the other things and just get back to what matters, and that's
Yeah,
family.
good deal, man. And what's that? Did you drive back home to the Lou,
Yes,
or
sir. I
did you fly?
drove.
Oh,
I
okay.
drove back home.
What's that drive like, man?
It's cool. 4.5 hours.
Yeah,
Play your music, may get on the phone, and then it's just a straight shot. Be on the highway for a long time. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty nice drive.
yeah, man. Y'all got this supposedly one of the nation's best pizza places,
Yes,
Lou, man.
emo. Yeah,
Uh, Emos, is that what it is? Emos,
emo.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I've got a couple guys that's from there. They talk about it, man. So
for sure.
shout out to Emos, man. Good deal,
Yes,
good deal.
sir.
Well, yeah, man. Let's really get into this, man. And I want to just take the time just to allow you all, as ambassadors, man, just talk to me about. And I'll go to you first on this, Byron, man. But in the early stages so far since we last spoke about being ambassadors for the 1912 Sports Group, man. How is it going so far for you? Has it been like drinking from a fire hose, or is it at a nice easy pace right now for you?
It's smooth. It's smooth, just like water. Since the last time we talked, everything has kind of flowed nicely. We got our stores up and running, and like actually, people have been buying a lot of stuff. Been getting a lot of feedback that everyone is liking, the gear and all that stuff, and the communication with Mr. Wade is very smooth. It's chill. It doesn't seem like it's a job or anything stressful. It's kind of like a father son relationship. He's got our backs, and like he doesn't really put that much stress or anything on us.
Yeah, good deal, good deal. What about you, Brock? Man, would you agree with that, or would you say, man, it was? Hold on, I had to figure this thing out on being an ambassador and understanding, time commitments.
I think it's been pretty smooth. I mean, contacting with Mr. Wade, anything new I need to put in there. Because if people are telling me suggestions, because I get a bunch of suggestions, like the quarter zips and stuff like that. A lot of people are buying those, and then the white jerseys are coming. So it's been pretty smooth. I think I'm gonna do some photo shoots in the jersey and the equipment and stuff like that to get it more out there. But other than that, everybody's been loving the stuff.
Good deal, man. Well, all right, man. Let's get in here for this some good season recaps here, man. Let's get into it. Um, I want you all, and I'll go to you first on this, QB. Give me your 60-second season headline. What did this year prove about TSU football for you?
I would just say it showed that we could face adversity. Coach Barlow, he would always come in every day saying how much he appreciated how no matter how bad things may seem, we always stayed together and came back and got to work. Obviously, it's a new team, things didn't go our way, but once everything gels together and we all get on the same page and all the pieces come back and we bring in new guys to bring them a part of the standard, everything will definitely flourish and we will be at the top of the conference.
Good deal, good deal. Same for you, Brock, man. Talk to me about just your 60-second season headline. Talk to me about that.
I think we did some great things this season, the offense and defense side of the ball. I know we had a little bit of struggle because people weren't here in the summer and spring and stuff like that. But I feel like this off season we actually get a spring together and the winter workouts together. I think everything will be coming in. But just like Byron said, Coach Barley's come in and tell us that he's proud of us that we keep on showing up every day because some teams they'll just lay down at the end of like third quarter if they're down by 20. I feel like we kept on fighting, and I think that's what we showed this year that we got a lot of fight still to give.
Good deal, man. Like I said, it's always the foundation, man. So good segue for me. So I'll keep it right here with you, Brock. Talk to me about the wide receiver room, right? And the evolution of the wide receiver room from, let's say, camp all the way to now, right? Why would we even say OTAs, right? Because we had the preseason OTAs as well too. But I mean, talk about that, man, and from things that you would say as a group, you all um, started to get better at as a group, right? So talk to me about some of that stuff, whether it was just, again, the very details of running routes the right way, right? Not necessarily just saying, hey, I got a post, so I'm gonna run this post full speed, and I got uh, out. I'm gonna run this out. It's like there's this nuance to route running where, you know, you run your routes at certain speeds to help create the open windows, right? So talk to me about just all of those things that coach had talked to you all about and that stuff that you felt like you started to see some consistencies from as the season went forward.
I definitely see a lot of potential in this group. I feel like we learned how to read coverages a little bit better. I feel like we struggled with that a little bit in the fall. And our route running definitely got a whole lot better throughout the season. We saw a lot more guys opening up, getting open. Um, Also, I mean, yeah, certain routes you got to run full speed. Certain routes, you got to make it look full speed so you can get in and out of your brace. So I think we did a great job, and Coach Andrews and Coach Harris did a great job of coaching us, on technique and stuff like that. But there is a lot of more things we can get better at. So it's gonna be good to see next year.
Definitely, definitely. All right, on the UQB, from under the center, right? What did you see as you evolved from protections to um, route conversions, and even to defensive coverages. So when it comes to, let's start with protections. Do you set the protection, or is that something that the center does for you all?
Oh, so it's on me and the coach. We got the new era, we got the headsets in our ears. So he tells me a protection, calls it in for me, and I go out there and if I want to shift it to the other side or change it to maybe have a little more blockers in than usual, then I can do that. And as the season progressed, those guys, did a great job. I feel like us coming together off the field kind of helped us on the field. Like I took it upon myself to go out and hang out with my lineman more, talk to them more, make sure that we had a good understanding, good connection that they know it's not just football. Like, we're brothers as well. You can come to me about anything. And once I did that and once we, came together more, things got a little better protection wise up front.
Yeah. Would you would you say, were there any times that as for, compared to early in the season, where after practice, well, not after the game, right? And you watching game film with Coach Harris, and it's like, hey, I know I called this coverage from a line protection standpoint,
Mhm.
uh, but as we started to get back into the cadence, um, this tendency started to show, right?
Yeah.
Were there any things like that where you all started to see, and you began to get some confidence in adjusting to on some of that stuff, or was it just, hey, you know what, man, coaches, he set this thing up, and I trust his eyesight. I don't need to, adjust it from there.
No, we definitely had those conversations. Not from just a protection standpoint. There was routes and plays and all that we talk about like, hey, maybe this will work better here.
Hmm.
If you go back and watch the film, you will see, me doing a lot of pointing and like, talking to the guys a lot, making sure, we know what's going on. But no, like I said before, the most of the checks really came from just making it to, like, for instance, say we got a 5-man protection and just making that six, or we got a 6-man and making it max protect. So those were really the only adjustments I really made. We knew some teams didn't like to send pressure, that they only sent 4 or 5 each play. So some of those checks didn't need to be made. But
Hmm.
other teams that, wanted to send that pressure on the early downs, we definitely talked about that and made those checks happen.
Yeah, good deal, good deal. All right, Brock, on to you, man. Let's talk about some other things you've learned. One lesson that's changed how you personally prepare and how you're going to prepare going forward. And if you have a moment, uh, what is it, and when do you think that moment hit you?
I think my most important lesson I've learned is to manage injuries a little bit better. Over recover. I feel like I had a shoulder problem throughout this year. I feel like if I would have done a little bit more rehab on all my body parts, I feel like I wouldn't have had those injuries in the first place. So moving forward, it's all about recovery because the healthy players, are the best players. They're always going to be out there, never going to be taken out and gonna go make plays. So
It is, man. Good thing. I'll tell you, man. It is. It is. My strength conditioning coach at the time when I was there, Chuck Losey. Um, he was a Vanderbilt grad, played football at Vanderbilt. We at Tennessee State was his first time being a strength conditioning head strength conditioning
Mhm.
coach. And, you know, that's one thing that he taught me my freshman year because I was a freshman. It was his first year as well too for us. And he said, hey, to get ready for a season, you have to like each month is a certain amount of time towards the section of a season. So from when he taught me that and told a bunch of us that put everything into perspective on how important it is in the off season from what you do and how you can't afford to lose time and most importantly that extra work of what it takes to um, beyond just because he taught us this right the strength training side of it is how you are able to withstand the beating of the game, right? But it's the other stuff you do that strengthens the ligaments, um, gives you great range of motion throughout the body that truly allows you to stay top side on your abilities, as well too. Because at the end of the day, we know that as the season goes, your body's going to get beat up. You're not going to be, um, you're not going to be as vibrant as you was when camp started, right? But what you can do is find a way to stay close to that, and that's just where this stuff comes from. So, man, that's a good thing you recognize that on how you want to go about doing that as well too. Um, same question for you, Byron, on that, man. Just talk to me about a time where as you're looking at lessons learned for you, one lesson that changed how you are going to prepare going forward for your position.
I would say it came the Gardner Webb week. That was a big lesson for me. The coaching staff had decided to play Palmer,
Hmm.
and just not getting emotional, not taking things personal, just still preparing like I was a guy, still making sure I was in tune and in like paying attention during meetings because every week in college football we're putting in new things, talking about what we're going to do against this look. So I could have easily, got in my feelings and not prepared the right way and maybe not paid attention as much. But that was something that I told myself I wasn't gonna do. And I came in, showed up on time, showed up early, still the weights, practices and meetings. And then, once it got to the game and I got put back out there, first drive scoring drive, had 2 touchdowns, finished like over 70% completion rate. And so, just making sure I didn't take any steps back from the circumstance and just staying focused and staying, disciplined in that position.
Good deal, man. I tell you, that's a very important mindset to have. And
Sure.
as you highlighted, it can be hard, but what's most important is, you know, when that decision happens, because it's happened to all of us. I know it happened to me, uh, in different times throughout my football career, from little league going up, right, where somebody just goes a different decision from another person, but you always stay true to just being ready for the next time you get a chance,
Yes, sir.
and that's all you care about. You do what you got to do to make sure that your energies are stay pure and rooting on who's out there, because at the end of the day, I want to win, right? And that's what it's going to always be for me, man. So kudos to that, man. Good eyesight on being able to see that. Um, on to leadership. And let's go to you on this, Brock, man. When we talk about leadership and we want to talk about the voice, and the voice can be something that's verbal, or the voice can be something that's actually seen as well too, right? Where will teammates hear you most this off season? Will it be the locker room? Will it be the weight room? Will it be in the film room? Where do you anticipate teammates seeing you and hearing you the most?
I feel like they'll be seeing me the most in the weight room. I'm a guy who likes to push it to the max level, try to get everybody's spirits high and get them ready for the season. I'm gonna push them as hard as they can, even until they can't go anymore. It all starts with the warm up to the stretching, getting extra work in after the workout, and make sure they're doing all their reps. So I feel like that's where they're gonna hear me the most.
That's good, man. Like it's a key point, man. Being able to step in there and making sure that you hit your reps, and the way you started is the way it has to finish. In the head, it has to, um, because that mindset creeps over and grows into what happens on the practice field and eventually on the game field. It's every last bit of that matters, and a person who tells you that it don't matter, they've lied to themselves, because the minute you don't give it your all on a rep, there's going to be a point in time where you don't give it your very all, and or you want to give it, even worse, you want to give your all, but you don't have it to give because you weren't putting in that work, and it just wasn't in a tank for you, right? So good call out. Byron, same thing for you on leadership. Talk to me about where you anticipate these guys hearing your voice. And again, as I said, voice is not necessarily what's said; it's also what's seen. But it can be both. Um, is it the film room? Is it the weight room? Is it the locker room?
I would say it's everywhere. As the quarterback, I have to be the guy that does everything right at all times. Even outside of football, showing up to class, doing my homework, making sure my grades are together.
Mhm.
Those things really matter. So they'll definitely see me impacted and being impactful that way. I'm a 4.0 student. I show up to weights every day on time, sometimes early. Coach Sop, he unlocks the door at 5:30 on the dot. People show up. We could wait outside in the cold, and I'm always one of those guys that's waiting for him to unlock the door. And as people see that and they see me showing up, regardless of how the games go, how anything goes, I feel like they'll definitely follow that.
Yeah. I'll open this up to anyone who wants to take this first, but just talk to me about what's the standard specifically that you're personally going to set for yourself as we move to the off season.
Um, I'll start it off. I kind of set this standard for my whole life, kind of, and I was just thinking about this in the gym. I went to the gym this morning. I was thinking about it then. When we're in a dark place, or like when we feel like we're hungry and we haven't accomplished what we want to in life, it's kind of easier to work hard, and you hungry, you trying to work hard, you trying to get to it. But once you have accomplished your goals, like for me, making it to the D1 stage and becoming a starting quarterback, is kind of hard to keep that mindset like, oh, I still got more to work for. But for me, this isn't the end goal for me. I want to, get to the next level, play professionally. So being able to still show up every day and attack the game with that same grit, that same hunger is definitely a big plus for me and how I carry things.
Yeah. Same for you, Brock, man. Talk to me about it. What's the specifics of you personally of the standard you're going to set for yourself?
I feel like the my standard would be, not just putting the work on the field but off the field, like I do now. Academics is really really important. Even after football, I mean, football doesn't last forever. You got to be able to do something after that. So I think academics is really good. I also want to work on doing more yoga, also with the team. Yoga is extremely important for the. I've seen all the big programs like Ohio State, Michigan. They're all doing it, and then people wonder why they're making to national championships and getting ranked and doing all these things. So I think stretching and a lot more speed work will help.
Yeah, good deal. If I can add one more, uh, if you're able to get into it as well too, um, I'm a big Pilates guy. Um, I actually, again, if you told me to choose between Pilates and yoga, I'm going to say Pilates.
Okay.
After going through both of them, that was just my cup of tea. I think I know for a fact either is great at just really getting the flexibility and range of motion in those ligaments. Again, as we talked about earlier, that in sport that, and I think we lost you for a second there, Byron, but my strength is Coach Losey when he was there, and he's went on to Vanderbilt, and he's been at Penn State these last almost a decade, I want to say, with Coach Franklin or whatever, and all the stuff he's done there. But he told me he's like, to prepare for a season, you got to take these 2 months to get you ready for this quarter of the season. These 2 months get you, like that's how he would map it out, and that's how he would tell me, right? And he would talk about the extra stuff that really does make sure that beyond the body being ready to withstand the beating, but it's just, that's just the beating side of making sure that your soreness and you recover. But there's the longevity side, and I fell in love with Pilates then, man, and just it's been wonders for me. I know Pilates is a little more difficult because you got the reformer and things like that, and it's not as easily to do like yoga's, right? You can do yoga very simple outside. I mean, there's mat Pilates that's I guess you could say a different variation of a yoga to some degree, but if you can always get on a reformer, it's great to go there. So like I said, good stuff, man. So we are rocking and rolling. Again, if like I said, if you're listening to this show, I want to just do a quick pause break here. I want to say a quick shout out to our nonprofit partner over here at Upper Radio Show, the Tiger Den Group. The Tiger Den Group is the only TSU football alumni organization that houses all of the TSU football alumni players, the former coaches and staff members who played a role in the legacy of TSU football. So if you ever want to be a part, if you're a former player, former staffer, former coach, and you want to be a part, make sure you go to thetigerdengroup.org. That's thetigerdengroup.org. Put that on a screen right there for us. And then, the other thing that we want to do as well too is that as we talk about the Tiger Den Group, let's talk about our mission statement at the Tiger Den Group, right? The mission is about the uplifting and the total support of TSU football, right? That's what it's about, man. So whether that's the immediate needs that the team needs right here, right now, or if it's some longer things that the team needs in the future, that's what the program is about. That's what the resource is about. So if you ever feel like you want to get involved, you want to support, make sure you go to the website right there, thetigerdengroup.org. That's thetigerdengroup.org, and make sure you support, man. All righty, guys, keep this thing rolling, man. We're going to talk about some more stuff, competition, field, film, leadership, man, as we get into this next B block of questioning here, man. As we look into off-season competition and we're talking about study habits, right? We want to prepare for spring ball. I'll take this to you first, QB. Walk us through your current week, right? What does it look like for you in your current week, from a lifts to field work you try to get done, film? What is the non-negotiable for you?
I feel like the non-negotiable is just working regardless of any circumstances, not being complacent, not being comfortable. I kind of go with this quote: everything is temporary, so don't get comfortable in your spot. After the last game, I took just like a 1 week break, And like I mentioned earlier, I'm back in the gym. I'll start off every morning with a nice breakfast. Lately, I've been going with oatmeal just to get that healthy, good weight on me. Go to the gym Monday through Thursday, alternate days, upper body and lower body. And then I have a trainer here at home, and once I give him the green light that I'm ready and that I'm feeling the soreness is out, all the pain is out, that I'm ready to get back to work. I'm definitely going to do that. And also it's a lot of football going on. With the all the situations, like for example the Lane Kiffin and LSU, and just watching how people handle that and trying to learn from the interviews, just to be a more intellectual player. And just obviously every Saturday, every Sunday, NFL, college, just watching and imagining myself in those positions. So
Good deal. Same for you, Brock, man. What's that spring ball? Walk us through that schedule right now. Walk us through it. What's the non-negotiables, man?
Man, 6 a.m. workouts. I usually fast in the mornings until the afternoon about 12. Don't want to eat too much. Want to maintain my weight so I can, keep my speed. And by 2 o'clock, I'm usually with my trainer. We go through speed work, and then we go through speed and agility, and then we go through top of the route, getting in and out of brace, working on coverages, and then about 5 or 6 o'clock, I go through a little bit of film. Watch some NFL football, college football, whoever's playing, and then repeat it. I only took about 3 or 4 days off after the season. And I was right back to it. So
I like it. I like it. I like it, man. Follow up to those, man. Brock, stay right there with me. What's your pre-practice script going to look like for you going into spring ball?
um, probably just going over the plays that they're gonna put in this new season. We got building more relationships with the players. We're gonna have a lot more people coming in, so we got to be able to get used to those people, get to know them, so that we can all work together as a unit and go win some games.
Definitely. Byron, same for you. What's that pre-practice script looking like, man?
I would just, touch on what Brock said. The film for sure, they as a quarterback, they give me the script of, the plays we're going to run before practice. So just making sure I got a head start on those, and, mentally preparing, how each play is going to look against a certain look. Also with, like y'all highlighted earlier, just the stretching part, making sure I'm hydrated, getting enough water and enough, energy in my body, and then going out, stretching, getting my shoulders and arm loose, probably get a little catches in with Brock, get his hands warm, my arm loose. And then, hey, once that whistle blows to stretch and coach stop, clap those hands, it's time to work.
Good deal. Good deal, man. Let's keep this thing rocking now. As you all mentioned, right? New faces coming in. It's a new era where everybody gets to move freely, right? And it's about embracing it because that's the ruling. There's no reason to fight it or not like it, right? So talking about that with portal guys, they're going to come in, early enrollees potentially out of high school that might come in. Just talk to us about that competition and what you expect from that competition. What embracing it really looks like for you on a day-to-day basis.
Um, I told my coach this in my ex meeting. I told him that I know it's you guys' job to come and replace us. It's a business out here, and for me, just making sure that I come in 10 times better than what I was. There's always room for growth. There's always room for improvement. So knowing that, and knowing that I still have something to chase and achieve for, because nothing's going to be handed to me. Nothing's going to be handed to anyone. So just making sure I'm 100% prepared and willing to go out and compete and fight. They can bring in the best of the best, and I'm going to, compete at a high level and give them my all.
Good deal. Same for you, Brock. Talk to me.
Well, I'm going to touch on a little bit what Byron said. You always got to be 100%, but of course, after the season, they're looking at your mistakes, looking at what you need to improve on, and if you don't work on them or you don't improve on that, they're just going to bring someone in to replace you.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, you're going to try to come back about 20 times, 100 times better than what I was, prove that I can still be that guy to go make plays and do my job the right way on and off the field.
Yeah.
But it's also going to be, I want the players that are coming in to give me their best competition, so I know where I stack up.
Yeah.
And I think I already know where I'll stack up, but I'm gonna come back a lot better.
Yeah. Good deal. And then follow up to both of y'all on this, but just talk about how do you balance the you know I want to be a good teammate, but I'm competing, so it's like how do you and I'll even I'll give that right. So I had this one thing I experienced in my time was our safety room was always loaded from like jump
Mhm.
from my freshman year on. I mean, I had two guys that were league guys. One actually went to the league. I had another two that had shots that didn't make it, right? But then as that was freshman year, like true freshman year. Then as it evolved from there, they constantly brought in guys, right? And our thing was, we're here to compete and we in the same rooms. Uh, but somehow, some way for us, we were able to still hold folks to a standard and like this is our group.
Yeah.
And I don't care, it ain't gonna be our fault. All right. In practice, whether it's team, inside run, 7-on-7, 2-minute drill, I don't care. Like it ain't gonna be our fault. So if you out there, don't jack it up. All
Mhm.
right. So it's like you got that side of it, and but you got the side that I'm out here. I'm gonna make sure I make these plays though, right? Because I don't want you to jack up. But I'm like, when I'm out there, I'm out here to make plays too. And prime example, one of the guys who transferred in, Brandon Blackman. Shout out to Brandon Blackman. He's defense coordinator at Delaware State up there with Deshaun Jackson doing great stuff up there, man. Obviously with what they're doing in the MEAC, man. But he transferred in from Purdue, and he's a Cali guy, right? He came from Southern Cal, and he just talked about that. This was like 1 week into camp with us. He was like, "Man, um, like you all are different. Like we like what you talking about." He's like, "Y'all realize at a different institution like a Purdue, like there is no brotherhood that I'm talking and still providing thoughts on stuff in practice. It's like, no, they're gonna let you jack it up.
Yeah.
That's what they're gonna do." He's like, "Y'all not doing that. You still going out there competing hard, but you want your group to look good at all costs, right?" And we was like, "Man, like this, who we are, you know." Um, I don't need to prey on your downfall. I'm gonna get my shot, and it's just on me to handle my shot that I get, right? That's what it's about, and it's so as I say that, like hopefully that kind of now gets you all to see like that thought process of how do you handle someone new coming in, right? And so I don't know if you are already thinking that way or what, man, but just tell me about it.
Brock, you want to take this one or me first?
Oh, can you repeat that question one more time? It was like a little glitchy.
Okay. Basically, when as we're talking about spring ball and new folks are coming in, right? How do you balance being a good teammate but also competing?
Obviously you don't want to, have that tension in the room where all season you're just like, man, I hate this guy.
Yeah.
Like I just want him on the team.
Hmm.
But obviously you want the spot, you want to be out there, you want the spotlight, you want to be the guy making the plays. The play don't care who makes it. That's what coach tells us every week. So if you want to be that guy, you got to prove it in practice. You got to prove it in academics so that you can do the right things, and you also got to show it in the film room to know that you know the plays and you know what you're exactly doing in your job.
Yeah. Byron?
Um,
Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna start off by saying like I'm a man of God, walking by faith. And as a quarterback, it's very difficult because there's only one of us at the field at all times. So I would just say, I never want to beat someone not at their best. Like I always want to, when you're competing, I want your best because that's going to push me for my best. So like how you mentioned how at Purdue he said those guys didn't really care if he messed it up or not. That's something we don't do at TSU or in the quarterback room. Specifically, me and the other guys have a great relationship. We ask each other questions, ask each other what we saw, things like that. And so coming this spring, I'm gonna embrace all that. Bring those guys in, fill them in on, what coach likes, how take care of certain things, and I want their best. I want them to push me as hard as I can, and I'm gonna push them as hard as we can. And I know, God will take care of everyone, and the best man will play. I trust our coaches to make that right decision, but just coming in and making sure, we're on point. We had a group chat this past season, keeping each other accountable with classes, showing up on time, and holding each other accountable for punishments if someone failed to meet that standard. So that's something I want to continue to in place. Bring those guys in and make sure we hold each other accountable, and that we do the best we can for the team and for TSU.
Good deal, man. Like that's what I want to hear, man. So, if you can, and this don't have to be in college, right? But just give me a time when competition just made you better. What changed for you in that time that competition made you better with, like, the very next time you had a chance to compete, whether if it was the next day or the next week, And again, this could be in anything that you ever had to compete in, but just give me a time where, you know, competition, really did bring the best out of you.
For me, I've been a competitor all my life. I have older brothers. I always played up in sports. So like in middle school, I would, always go to the field with my older brothers who were in high school and compete against those guys. But a really good kind of core memory for me is, in the 7-on-7 world, in the 7-on-7 stream of things, I played on the travel 7-on-7 team, and we traveled and played, one of the top teams in the country, SFE, based out of Florida. And, those guys were filled with 5 stars and, guys that, got these big offers. And just, I went out there and we ended up coming short 27-28, but just compete at a high level, not throw any turnovers, have 4 touchdowns, just throwing the ball very well and just competing at that high level against the top guys. That was really for me like wow, had the competition made the best out of me, and I really showed up for that.
Okay. Same for you, Brock, man. Like talk me about it, a time where where you realized competition brought the best out of you.
I want to say about a couple of years ago, and me and my family were playing a board game, and um, I think it was Monopoly. We're playing, and somebody stole like all my properties, and I was mad. I was mad as heck. I was like, "Nah, bro, you not finna steal my properties." I was like, "I need to log in. I need to get this, bro." And I end up losing that. I'm like, you know what? Nah, we playing again, and we played like 2 more times until I won. I was like, I gotta win somehow. And then after I won, I was like, yeah, I'm done playing. I'm gonna go off with the winning edge. I said, I'll see you tomorrow if you want to try to play me again.
Time about
So
Monopoly.
that's like
Monopoly.
that can easily be one like the world's longest games, depending on like who's playing. Wow, that's what's up. I like that.
That's great.
I'm gonna stick with you on this, Brock. Uh, who are you watching in film right now, outside of yourself? And whether again, which way you can find the film, whether it be through the true coaches cuts or just what you find on YouTube. But are there any other receivers, whether it be in college or pro, that you're looking at to get some tidbits from? Old film, current guys, anything?
I definitely think Justin Jefferson and George Pickens stand out the most to me.
Mm,
George Pickens, he has that edge. He's one of them guys that are a little crazy. He wants to hit somebody, he wants to go and make the play, hurdle somebody, do spectacular things. And Justin Jefferson, he's a little bit quieter. He lets his game show, his excitement and stuff like that. So they're really, really good to watch.
yeah. Okay. What about you, Byron?
If for the people that know me, football is like my everything. So like if I'm ever chilling one day, you just like look over at my computer or look at my phone, majority of the time is going to be football on there. So I've just been watching everybody across the college landscape, but professional wise, I love Jalen Hurts and Tom Brady. Those are the 2 guys I study the most, with just the calm leadership, and they definitely bring that fire when it's needed. Those are people that are able to lead whatever room you put them in. They don't just lead by yelling or small talk. Those guys are a jack of all trades, and they could, like I said, lead any room. So just watching, I watched the Tom Brady documents over and over and over again, just how he attacked the game, off the field, how he managed things, and just, what he put in to be the GOAT. And, Jalen Hurts, I kind of see him, just the professional, strong, black man that, just does everything right. So those are the two guys I definitely study.
Good deal. Brock, I was thinking about this, right? There's a receiver, and I don't know if you agree with me on this, but look into Mac Hollins, Patriots wide receiver, number 13. And just watch, and especially like with how he's playing in this offense right now with Drake May, obviously with Josh McDaniels, but like, he's someone that I would say if you get a chance to like look at him specifically, I think you'll find some stuff where you can take from him, man. Like he gets a chance to take a lot of the big shots in that offense. He stacks extremely well as a receiver. Man, he stacks extremely well. And as a person who's seen that from my side of it, and I know that it don't matter how good you are if the receiver stacks you, man, and the ball's in a good enough space, man, you're just at that point hoping the receiver drops it, from that point on, man. So he's one that I tell you, like, and then like an old school guy. He's not fast like you, but my goodness, he always gets open. Ricky Proehl, Proehl. Like I said, he's nowhere near your speed, but he played with the Panthers, the Rams. Like he played with multiple good teams in his career, and he was always that constant receiver that just he was going to make a play. He was going to make that play. He was definitely going to move the sticks. He was going to make some big plays, man. That's kind of what he did, man. So he definitely stands out to me on that. And I would agree with you, Byron, as well too, from that standpoint of Jalen just being in that space of managing the noise, right, that he does as a quarterback, man. It's even as you see with him, even in winning, it's tough.
Yeah.
Him right now, right? So it comes with it, man, because it's like you're winning, and it's like, well, I don't like how you're winning, right? So that's the sucky part of it at times, man. But it's just you let them know that you're not wavering on any of that stuff, man. Like this is what we're trying to get done here. So good stuff on that. I want to get into as we get ready to close out the show here, man, from a team perspective, right? If I asked the team in April what Brock and Byron changed this offseason, what would you want them to say?
Brock, you can take this one first.
I want them to say that he's a guy who came in, did it the right way, didn't get into any trouble. Was good and on and off the field, and I feel like I brought a lot of energy to practice. I usually just going around rambling about something. I don't know, trying to talk to them, trying to get their spirits up. But yeah, hopefully they would say something like that.
Okay, good deal. Byron, same for you. What would you want them to be able to say when it's all said and done at the end of spring ball?
Just the guy that, didn't mind speaking up in any room, didn't mind, being in the uncomfortable positions, and just, being a leader, just, making sure that I got those guys back, and just coming in and working every single day, day in and day out, whether that's film study, staying at the extra hours. I feel like that's one thing me and Brock did well. Like we got the extra hours in, no matter how banged up we were in the indoor, throwing extra, catching extra, things like that after every practice. So with those guys, I just want them to, say that, those guys are the ones that are going to go the extra mile and put the extra work in to be the best they can be.
Good deal. And then lastly, if you can do this right here, quick tag finish on this. Finish this sentence, and I'll go to you first, QB. Spring ball will be a success if.
Spring ball be a success if we all come together and buy into the standard, buy into the program. It would be a success.
Brock, same for you. Spring
I
ball will be
think
that's
if we get a full spring together, of course that's what we started with last year. Hopefully everybody comes in at the same time, build chemistry, and hopefully it builds throughout fall camp and the season. So
okay. And then one more. I'm sorry, I missed that. One more. And this could you both don't have to answer this question, but um, put yourself in Coach Barlow's shoes, right?
Mhm.
Um, what would be two things that you think, if you're the head coach, what would be two things that you would want the team to accomplish by the end of spring?
I would say team bonding. Like, there was a lot of guys that we were all new. So guys really found, the couple guys that they got close with, and like that was it. There was just like groups, there was segments, and there was not much team, everybody coming together. So I would say, just that team bonding, bringing everyone together, making sure everyone knows everybody and everyone talks to everybody. And other than that, I would just say, just to fight hard, keep on, trusting the coaches, trust, what they say, and just showing up every day and giving it your all, because they're going to put us in the best positions to succeed.
Good deal. Well, man, like I said, we'll look there, guys. There you have it. Brock, Byron. I want to appreciate you all for coming by. A special edition of the Upper Radio Show's Your Time Unleashed with the 1912 Sports Group ambassadors. As always, we want to make sure that you continue to support these ambassadors. If you're listening and watching this show, visit 1912sportsgroup.org. Again, that's 1912sportsgroup.org. And make sure you support these guys and their NIL in their NIL collectives, man. A lot of great merchandise is out there. And as always, we'll see you next time. Let's go Big Blue.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
sure.